Ruslan.
Kendrick Lamar puts out a letter announcing this is his last album with TDE. Now, this is a sore point for me because I feel like fans always make it a bigger deal when an artist transitions off their label. And they always make it a bigger deal than it really is, okay? And I'll put it this way. He said some other stuff in that exchange that was interesting. He said he goes months without a cell phone. Respect to him. That's really impressive. I would hope that a lot of us can build our lives in a way where we can go months without a cell phone. That's amazing. I'm sure he probably is clear-headed. He's working. He's creating. He talked about praying for people and you know, faith in the Most High and that thing. I thought that was super dope. Kendrick's been on a journey with his faith. I don't know where he's at currently, but you know, he's added some references to Jesus and God and all that kind of stuff in his music. He announces that this is going to be his last album on TDE, and that was the part that seemed to trigger a lot of people. Now, here's why this is annoying to me. He said he'd been on TDE for 17 years. Here's what I want you guys to think about. 17 years ago, when he started, he didn't have a ton of leverage. He didn't have a ton of access. He didn't have a ton of resources. He didn't have a ton of momentum. He barely had a name. He was just KDOT around the area. So when Kendrick is transitioning off of his label, that's not a bad thing. He did his time there. He honored them there, and it's what he's supposed to do, to boss up and to start his own company and to start his own label and to put on his cousin, Baby Keem, and to do all of these different things that he's supposed to do. That's what he's supposed to do. So this idea, when it was KB leaving Reach or Andy potentially leaving Reach, Andy said he might go indie once he's out of the deal. Whether it's artists that I've worked with that used to be on my boutique label that have transitioned off, like a John Keith. Fans tend to make these situations way more awkward than they really are. Here's the deal. Artists should evolve and go get the best situation for them. And sometimes that also looks like getting away from the circle that you were in and developing new relationships, new partnerships, new distribution outlets, so on and so forth. When fans react like, oh, this is so sad, it's like, this is what happens. He fulfilled the terms of his contract. He honored the agreement, praise God, and he's gonna go move on. That is how you do it. That is how you move on in honor, right? That's the right way to do it. And I think when artists do that, you shouldn't look at it as oh, he's leaving his label, it'll never be this. No, it should be like, man, praise God, he's leveling up. Whether that's a Christian artist, whether that's Kendrick Lamar, whether that's whoever. You should be excited that they're leveling up. You should be excited that they're transitioning, that they're evolving, that they're starting their own label, so on and so forth. I think that is amazing. And salute to him for doing that. And by the way, from my understanding, any deal, but let alone a deal with TDE, not the most artist-friendly deals, okay? The leverage is on the side of the label. It was back then when Kendrick got started. It is today because they're not really signing people that are already booming, because anybody that's already booming would never go sign a record deal, or they wouldn't sign a deal with TDE, which is technically an indie label. So you got to understand that when an artist signs to a label as big as TDE or as small as TDE at the time was, usually that situation is in favor of the artist initially. As the situation transitions, the situation is more in favor for the label, because now the artist is bigger. The label took the risk initially. The artist is bigger. The label is benefiting more from the affiliation with the Kendrick Lamar than necessarily contributing to that situation. And granted, they've built some good infrastructure over there. They got their own engineers, they got their own situation, own studios, everything. But we should be excited when artists transition. We should be excited when people move on. We should be excited when people level up. We shouldn't make it an indictment on him, his character, the label's character, anybody's character, but to just say, hey, that's awesome. Praise God. He's leveling up. He's doing his own thing. Celebrate that, salute that, keep it moving.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
When the culture says do what you love, we respond with love what you do. You may have responsibilities that you aren't passionate about, but loving what you do means being faithful to what's in front of you, committing to excellence as if that were your greatest dream. Colossians 3:23 says, work diligently at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Love what you do. Love what you do.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Yo, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you found it valuable, considering giving it a like and subscribing. This month, I'm releasing the Love What You Do collection. And to celebrate, I'm doing a 3-day virtual event to help us go from learning to love what we do to ultimately doing what we love. By the way, it's free, so hit the link in the description to grab your seat today.